Hello, YouTube friends. We're here in the Hampton Inn, in my room. It's a double queen room. Very nice. In fact, it's got a couch. Nice TV. In fact, it had the HDMI cable available in the back, so I have my computer, my laptop plugged into that. Amazon Prime. But very nice room. Very good sleep last night. Wonderful, wonderful sleep. But, take a look. Nice couch right there. There's my messy bed. I told her not to bother with cleaning my room. See, double queen, right out to that's Highway 6 out there. Right through the day screen. There's the TV. A little dressing area. Microwave, I made dinner last night. Refrigerator. A little coffee machine. Ironing, if I can want to iron my shirts. Nice bathroom. Even took a bath last night. I actually put the laptop there and watched The Beast from the Cave. An old 1959 movie with Apollo was one of the stars. Apollo from Star Trek. I don't know who his name is, but I recognize him as Apollo. Star Trek fans know who I'm talking about. He was Apollo in that one episode. But I want to relay a life experience, a short life experience of mine that many might find kind of enjoyable. But I'm going to sit on the couch here and talk to you about it. The year is 1994. I was practicing yoga back then. I was out of karate classes and went into yoga. I found this nice lady out in Minnetonka called Dorothy Hale. So I started taking classes from her in 1993. And I went ahead and continued my practice there. In fact, they had me teach a few classes on their Thursday night programs down at the Meditation Center in Minneapolis on University Avenue. So it was enjoyable experience. I met a lot of nice, very calm people. So in 1994, they offered this month-long tour to India. A whole month, September to October. So I jumped on the chance. One price included everything, all the way to the Himalayas, flights and everything. So I booked that trip. My dad took me to the airport. I dressed kind of stupidly. I wore my suit jacket, not really considering where we were going to land and where we were going to be. You know, in Minneapolis, my first couple stops, we had to go down to St. Louis first. I felt okay, you know, I'm dressed in my suit. I get to New York. I see other members in our tour group. They're all dressed in, you know, khakis and, you know, backpacks and shit like that. And here I got my suit jacket on. I'm feeling like kind of an idiot. But, what the hell, I let it slide. Everybody did. We were all friends. They're very nice people that I traveled with. But we took our flight. It was a long flight to India. We stopped in Frankfurt, quite an airport in Frankfurt. In fact, the first time we deboarded, we went onto a bus. But even in 1994, the airport tarmac at Frankfurt had jeeps with machine guns on them, just to keep guard of the airport. So this is in Germany, and I see jeeps with machine guns on them. So I'm thinking, oof, what am I getting myself into here? Well, we get back on the plane, nothing happened, and it was nice waiting in the airport. In fact, their floors there in the Frankfurt airport are kind of different. They're kind of like a plastic, almost like a Lego board. You know, big Legos on the whole floor. It's the gray Legos, you know, like the male part of the Lego. Oh, their whole floor, easy to clean, I suppose. All plastic, no carpeting, just all that same Lego design throughout. But anyways, we land in India. It's taking a whole hour. It's morning time there. We left in the afternoon in New York. And here it's morning time. I didn't sleep hardly at all on the plane. And in fact, we were on the sister to the DC-10, L-1011. We took a L-1011 for the long jaunt between Frankfurt and New Delhi. For our group, they already ordered us all our meals, so I had to eat. I couldn't order the other good meals that they were. I was a little disappointed in that, since I was part of the group. They already ordered for me. But we landed in New Delhi and go through customs there. They knew the group that was landing, since the guy that'd be teaching the classes is well known in India. So we boarded buses and we started heading north on these highways, different kind of buses, really different buses than Americans are used to. Rough roads, cows in the roads, watching traffic, people with their carts. It's a whole different culture shock after leaving New Delhi. In fact, landing in New Delhi, I go into the restroom because I had to piss so bad, and the toilets were flush to the floor. Flush meaning even, level with the floor. So if you want to go poop, you gotta squat. So be aware of that. If you fly into New Delhi, you're gonna be squatting to poop. So go on the plane before you get off. Luckily our hotel and where we finally stayed had American toilets, so I didn't have to squat. But anyways, we finally made our way up to Rishikesh. We got our way into the Genghis Kinar Hotel, I believe it was. We got all checked in. And we had a couple days of seminars and everything. So one day on the afternoon after the seminars and we had lunch, I take this walk. I don't know if it was east-west, but up the other road from where the hotel was and the ashram was, where the guy lived that taught the classes. And I'm walking up this road, and all of a sudden I see these clay huts with trees growing out of them. I mean, big trees. I think they're called banyan trees. So I'm thinking, well, what the hell are trees growing? So I'm curious. I have to walk over by them. There's several back in there. All through this grassy field, there was several of these kind of clay huts that had these big trees growing right out of the top of them. And I'm thinking, well, how the heck did trees grow out of those clay huts? So I examined one. I walked up to one and started examining it, and all of a sudden I kind of look over to my left, and there's this temple, an ancient kind of temple with smoke coming out of it. And all of a sudden the whiff of smoke hit me like a blast. It was hash. The guy was burning hash in his sacred fire pit. But I continued looking. I whiffed it. I was almost getting high even way over there, just with that little whiff. But anyways, I had to examine these clay huts. I mean, they're big trees. These things had to be almost 3 feet in diameter, growing right out of a clay hut on the roof. Big tree. So I'm looking at all the roots. All of a sudden, the temple guy kind of comes over and is just kind of giving me, it didn't really walk towards me, but he comes out of the temple looking at me, kind of giving me an evil eye or whatever. But I continue looking at these clay huts. And so I figure, well, what the hell? I'm going to go over and talk to this dude. Even though he's kind of giving me the evil eye, I wasn't scared at all. I was curious. I wanted to get closer to the hash, actually. It was billowing out of this temple. I got closer and closer, and it started smelling better and better and better. And I greeted him with the traditional Indian greeting of Namaste. It's kind of like a hello, goodbye, kind of like ciao in Italy, or same type thing, Namaste. But I greeted him with Namaste and told him where I was from. I was down the road, learning from, Swamiji down the road there. He understood right away what group I was with. In fact, he became very friendly then. He understood, and he wasn't mad at me looking at his sacred huts then. I told him, in fact, he could kind of speak broken English. I tried to ask him how they grew out of there, but All he could really tell me also is there were ancient yogis of the ancient past that took leave of their bodies there. They, through control of their breath and many years of dedicated practice in the mountains, they knew when their time was up, and that's how they left the earth. They built these clay huts, and they went inside and left their bodies. And these trees later on started growing out of these clay huts. I don't know if it's their final goodbye or if they put a seed up there or how it happened, but that's what he told me, is these ancient yogis took leave of their bodies in these ancient clay huts. So I went into the temple deeper as we chatted. I was walking towards the hash smoke as we were talking. And I get to the hash pit, and there had to be 100, maybe 150 pounds of hash smoldering in the sacred fire pit, just billowing out of it. I mean, primo hash. I was just getting, the whole temple was completely filled with smoke. I could barely see the dude. In fact, I had to walk away from it. I started to cough. It was that heavy coming out of this fire. Luckily, it was venting up through the roof. The roof was open. It was real colorful, old ancient temple too. Colorful, very colorful. I don't know where they got paints when they painted it, but they must have updated it with new paints because it was very colorful and bright. But I was impressed with all the hash he was burning that thing. There, I don't know. There was big, instead of logs in a fire, imagine big chunks, rocks, boulders of hash smoldering in there. That's what was producing all that smoke. And he said that that's their daily ritual they were performing at the temple. So I started heading back, thoroughly wasted. I was so wasted. I hadn't been stoned in over a year. My friends that know me real well know that I was recreational all the way until 2004, until my stomach experience. Now it's a combination of recreational and medical now with my completely screwed up digestive system. It helps me to pass gas and gives me an appetite now. So I do it probably more for medical than recreational nowadays. That's why I'm so glad it became legal. But anyways, I'm heading back down the road, thoroughly wasted. I was just blitzed out of my mind from this primo hash. I mean, I stood in there, we'd talk 15 minutes, and I mean, when I was younger, we went to stuff. I mean, it was illegal back then, but we went to bongathons. In fact, we had a whole group of friends. We brought a whole quarter pound and a few bongs, and we went camping, and we called it a bongathon. That was back in the old days when I was like 19, 20 years old, when you had the Mexican weed and you had to clean half your quarter pound with seeds and stems. And it smelled like a musty old basement. But it got us wasted. I mean, we had fun. We had all kinds of fun. But as I'm heading back down this road in India, towards the hotel and past the ashram, there's a cow in the road, so I kind of befriended this cow even. I'm all wasted and I'm talking to this cow. I mean, they're friendly. They're very friendly in India. I mean, they're they don't really eat them right there, but they let them walk everywhere. I mean, the cars will stop for them crossing the roads. They call them sacred there. In fact, a lot of their animals are just wandering around the streets. And it's quite a culture shock. If anybody goes to India, you'll have a culture shock. And if people that have been there will understand where I'm coming from. But I wanted to share that story, that life experience of mine. An incredible life experience that'll stick with me. Look at, I'm 60 years old now. What was I back? 33 years old. 1994. 32. I was 32 years. Yeah, I turned 33 right when I bought my house. So I bought my house the next year right after the Indian trip to India, that month-long trip. In fact, we got to go see the hospital that Swamiji had built right in the foothills of the Himalayas. That was one of his dedication projects. He wanted to get medical treatment to all the villagers and that didn't have medical access up in the foothills of the Himalayas. There now he's got a beautiful medical complex with a college and everything that he's left behind. He left in '96. In fact, that's probably one reason I went there. I had a feeling he was going to be leaving soon. But I'm just blessed to have such mentors in my life. And I wanted to share that experience with you. My YouTube friends, I try to hold back my emotions there, but I got quite emotional thinking of some of the conversations we had and how he's not here no more with us. He's with me in spirit though, always, just like Mom and Ruby and Diamond. But you guys have a good day, and I'm glad I could share that little story with you. Hopefully it's not too long. I haven't really kept track of the minutes on here. You have a wonderful day, and everybody stay safe. Take care.